Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to I can write an equation for a line when given 2 points. So thinking you are given 2 ordered pairs that both reside on the same line, and you are supposed to write an equation for the line that those two are on. So for example, the point could be here, and obviously there's other points along that line, and you're looking for what the equation in slope-intercept form that line is in. Remembering that you need slope and the y-intercept to be able to write an equation in slope-intercept form. And right now, you're only given 2 ordered pairs with coordinates x and y. So you're going to have to find m and b. So here are some steps to write an equation for a line that goes through the 2 given points. Your first step is that you're going to want to find the slope. Remembering that slope is m equals the change in y over the change in x, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can do that because you are given 2 points, xy and xy, noticing that this would just be the first pair, this would be the second pair, and they would be plugged in here. So after you find the slope and then you have an m equals value, you're then going to pick one of the ordered pairs. So just pick one of the values of x and y. Use that and use the found value of slope to plug into the y equals mx plus b. So you'd have a y value, an m value, and an x value, and you'd be solving for b, much like we did prior to this lesson. Once you then have m and you have b, so m from step 1 and b from step 2, you're then able to rewrite the equation y equals mx plus b, where your m value and your b value are plugged in. X and y remain as variables for the equation form. Make sure you have these steps down and follow them as we go through some examples. Remember to follow some examples and then pause and try some of your own. So the first thing I'm going to do is label x1, y1, x2, y2, because I want to make sure that I plug them in the right spots. So step 1 is to find the slope. And I plug in to the slope formula. So the slope is 6 minus 4 over 4 minus 3, which would equal 2 over 1 for a slope of 2. Now that I have my slope, I'm going to take my slope and an ordered pair, you can pick either one, and plug it into y equals mx plus b. So I plug in for y, which was 4, m, which is 2, x, which is 3. I'm going to solve for b. So 4 equals 6 plus b, subtract 6 using my inverse operation, and I get negative 2 is equal to b. Now that I have my slope and my y-intercept, I am able to write my equation y equals slope of 2 times x, negative 2 y-intercept. Same thing over here. x1, y1, x2, y2. My slope is y2 minus y1. Notice the negative stays with the number. Subtraction is part of the equation. x2 minus x1. So I found that my slope is negative 9 over 3, which simplifies to a slope of negative 3. Now I'm going to take my ordered pair and my slope and plug them in. So negative 1 is y, my slope of negative 3, x value of negative 1, plus b. Negative 1 equals 3 plus b. Inverse operation, subtract 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. On both sides, adding the opposite, I get that b is equal to a negative 4. I know m, and I know b, so my equation is y equals mx plus b. And since it's a negative, it can just be minus 4. Okay, so following these steps, see if you can try a few. Reconnect this as it goes over. Okay, so I'm going to do slope is 8 minus -1 over 6 minus 3. Slope is 9 over 3 for a slope of 3. Given my slope and an ordered pair, I plug in -1 equals slope times x plus b. Solving for b by using inverse operations. And once I know my y-intercept and my slope, I can plug them in. Y equals 3x minus 10. xy. My slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Add the opposite, I get a -8 over a -4 for a slope of +2. With my slope and my coordinate, I do 4 equals 2 times 3 plus b. Again, just plugging in x, y, and m and solving for b. 4 equals 6. We had one just like this, subtracting. And I get b equals a -2. Y equals 2x minus 2. Now, try these and come back. I'm going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2, so you know where to plug them in. Find your slope, the steepness of a line, -20 minus 5 over -9 minus 6. I'm going to add the opposite, slope of -25 over -15. 5 goes into both of those, so that's going to simplify to a slope of negative over negative is positive, 5/3. So I have my slope and it's a fraction, so I may look at my x and y values, which one's going to be easier to work with the 3. Since slope goes next to the x, I'm still going to pick my first one, plug those in. Y is 5, m is 5/3, x is 6, and I'm looking for b. Ignore that. So then I'm going to put 6 over 1, because I can cross cancel my multiplication. Could do 30 over 3 is 10, or you can see that 3 goes into 3 once, and it goes into 6 twice. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract 10 from both sides, and I get that b is equal to -5. So if I know b and I know m, I can plug in y equals 5/3 x minus 5. And another. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Using your integers, you're going to add the opposite. -1 plus 7 is 6. 6 minus the -3 is 9. These share a factor of 3, so your slope simplifies to 2/3. Given that slope and an ordered pair, I plug them in. Y is -7, slope is 2/3, x is -3, and I'm finding b. Put that over 1. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into -3, -1 times. So I'm left with 2 times -1, which is -2. I need to subtract -2 here, just like adding 2. I find out that b is equal to a -5. Given b, given m, I know that my equation is y equals 2/3 x minus 5. And that's it. So make sure that you have those steps written down and that you do your best. Good luck.